Gonna work out a quick few things before I get started. So, all right, how's it going, everybody? We are going to I will be focusing on a chat on Sasuke 42, and I was making sure my audio works. Sorry about that. I apologize for that. The pure 20 seconds of adjusting my volume because I forgot my remote like a noob. Um, yeah, but anyway, we're going to talk about Sasuke 42, transition into Kunoichi 12, and then transition into something special that I got planned. So, let's get ready for it. Here we go. So, here is everything that we know about Sasuke 42 so far. I want to give a quick warning before I begin this stream that there are rumors about the about Sasuke 42 and also possible obstacle spoilers. There are obstacle spoilers. I should mention that there are a couple. There's a couple that are also possible obstacle spoilers. So let's take a closer look at everything we know about Sasuke 42 so far. So starting off with the trials. Literally as I was preparing for this stream a couple hours ago, we get trials info on Twitter or on X. The Sasuke 42 trials will begin to air on Wednesday, November 13th at 6 p.m. Japanese Standard Time. I'm not gonna lie, this was later than I thought it would be because, sorry, Jesus. Um, Not gonna lie, this is later than I thought it would be because there was, the whole when the rebroadcasts were getting uploaded on YouTube. I think it was like the second to the sixth that they were getting uploaded, so I just expected the trials to go from like the 7th to the 11th or the 7th to the 12th or something like that. So, but we're getting them a little bit later now. Wednesday, November 13th at 6 p.m. Japanese Standard Time will be the first one. And if the translation is correct, the trials will air for 6 nights in a row through Monday, November 18th, which means we would have a sixth episode. Um, this is rumored. I don't believe that I put this on the side, but I believe that Inui has hinted at a possible second chance opportunity, and that's why there would be a sixth episode. So 5 episodes like the regular trials, and then I assume that the sixth night would be like a second chance, maybe to get some more extra spots in. So we could see maybe 4 or 5 winners from the trials instead of just 3. So we'll see what happens there. Here is a picture of what I believe is going to be the fifth episode, that final episode when they run a mock version of stage one, a smaller mock version. Obviously, you got your quad steps, you got your rolling hill, you got your fishbone kai, and then that um, the little section in between the fishbone kai and the wall. Didn't know what it was at first, but then I realized that it was a trampoline going right into a trapeze bar, similar to what they had at the celebrity trials that they used to hold back like before COVID, something like that, I think. I know they held one in 2019. I'm not sure beyond that or before that. Um, I think 35 had one too, so that means 36 must have had one. But anyway, um, I believe that bar is meant to simulate the Dragon Glider. So instead of just building the whole Dragon Glider, just the trapeze bar for the trials, which I mean makes sense. It's not a full-blown course, and it's pretty cool to see that added. As for the idol trials, this is something new that Sasuke's been doing, and the first ever Sasuke idol trials will be broadcast on YouTube on Mondays and Fridays starting November 25th. Um, this is the Monday before Thanksgiving, US Thanksgiving, I should say, because obviously Canadian Thanksgiving was last month. Um, there's rumored to be a four-part series. This is the rumor going around right now that it's a four-part series. So that would mean 25th, 29th. So 25th, the Monday before Thanksgiving, the day after Thanksgiving, the 29th. Uh, December 2nd, which is a Monday, December 6th, which is a Friday. But only one idol, this is confirmed, that only one idol will be selected to compete. And there is a screenshot from the official Sasuke X account. The release date has been decided every Monday and Friday from November 25th on a Monday, streamed on Sasuke's official YouTube channel. Here is some info that we have when it comes to air date. While there is no pic of this, the Sasuke 42 logo on set does have a reef around it. Hence the reef that I decided to include in the thumbnail for this live stream actually. Um, this is heavily implying a Christmas air date, just like that final stage picture that we saw a couple of weeks ago during taping weekend. And remember, we were already speculating about a Christmas air date as I was talking about due to that pic right there. So, and that's just that reef, if it is true, um, that's just more evidence. And I say it's like honestly I put 95%, but I think it's like 99.9%. Like Lysol, you get rid of 99.9% of germs. Sasuke 42, 99.9% chance of airing between the 24th and 26th. I mean, I feel like it's going to be on the 24th or 25th, but I could also see why they wouldn't want to air it on Christmas, maybe due to other like broadcasting conflicts. So I could definitely see the 26th as well, but just still a Christmas theme going on. Um, as for the new obstacle, we don't know what the new obstacle is yet, but we can make our best guesses. Obviously, that is what the Sasuke community does whenever we figure out that there's a new obstacle. It's confirmed to be 1.3, meaning that the wing slider is gone, and I don't know how to feel about it because the World Cup, like obviously it injured Gil, 30, I think it was Sasuke 36. It injured Takeda. Um, just it's not good for your knees or your shoulders. Honestly, pretty easy to get something dislocated on there. Um, like the aforementioned Gil incident in the World Cup or Takeda in 36. So I guess, for safety purposes, it's good, but I also thought that the wing slider was a pretty good obstacle, so. But It's also confirmed to be a brand new creation by Inui, meaning no copies of A&W Obstacles or any other show. So no Takeshi's Castle, no Viking, no Kunoichi, no international shows, no Australia, no Germany, no France, no Poland. Whatever shows you can name, none of those. Um, Even though it's not a direct copy, it is rumored to be a cross between The Hinge and Lunatic Ledges, two um, pretty interesting A&W obstacles that I believe are on the next slide here. There is the Lunatic Ledges, obviously. I believe they were first in Seattle. I don't know. They came back a couple times after that. I'm not exactly sure because after that we stopped having cities, so it's harder to remember. Um, but Lunatic Ledges, you'd grab onto the first ledge, it would swing, you land on like a pendulum sort of thing, kind of like the TikTok, but it's in a ledge shape. Like I cannot talk. Um, and that is the hinge. It was the eighth obstacle. I believe it was, I think it was LA and a Butte. Yeah, that looks like that. That does look like LA. Or no, that's Minneapolis. That's Minneapolis. A and W 10. I don't know. I think it was an A and W 11 too, but I can't remember where. Oh, but anyways, that first board, all these boards turn. I'm pretty sure. I would have to go back and watch the exact function of the obstacle, but it's also another like ledge obstacle. Got similar shapes to lunatic ledges, and that brings up, I believe this. I had this photo on my presentation that I did a couple weeks ago, which is looks a lot like a ledge. So I'm not sure if like this, you can kind of see like a beam right there. So it could be some sort of track thing, like you slide, like you gotta run up and jump it and just slide across or something like that. Either that or it's like you transition to another one. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on there. Um, but my best guess is that it's a cross between Lunatic Ledges and the Hinge, and maybe possibly a track style since it's a 1.3. Modified obstacles. There are two modifications to the course this year that have already been confirmed. One of them is on stage one, and the other is on stage three. The first one that's on stage one is that big gap on the Kai section of the Fishbone Kai is gone. Um, like how competitors would be able to rest for a couple seconds in between fourth and the fourth and fifth pedestals. Um, that gap is gone, meaning tougher precision, less rest near the end, less time to think. So definitely could be interesting. I believe that modification was there for the World Cup too. So I don't know if they further modified it to make it even less of a gap, or if they're just passing that off as like if they're passing it off as like a new modification, even though it's not. And number two, that's on stage three, it has to do with the swing edge. That first blind grab, the swing edge from, um, we'll call them X's, I guess, X1 to X2, has the ledges right next to each other on X2. And the second from X2 to X3 has them apart again, making for tougher grabs. It's similar to the Leaps of Faith on A&W. I don't think I put a picture of Leaps of Faith in here. Um, but basically, like you'd go, feel like, hold on, I feel like this is a camera job. I feel like this is a camera job. It's like you'd be like right here with the swing edge, blind grab, they're close, blind grab again, and they're further apart again. Oh my God. All right. So when should we expect more info on Sasuke 42? Considering the trials will be over on the 18th, don't expect an air date, numbers, and the like the air date announcement trailer, whatever you're supposed to call that, until at least November 18th or November 19th, which November 18th is a Monday, November 19th is a Tuesday, in case anybody was wondering. Also, given the Idol trials and Koshin, that date may be even further away, but like the Idols trials aren't going to be over, like I said, till December 6th, and the Koshin last year aired December 3rd, so I don't think that they would wait till December for numbers. Um, like I said, I don't think so, and I think we're gonna get all the info that we need on Tuesday, November 19th. Gotta put that prediction set in stone now. Um, it's getting closer. I gotta stop changing my prediction. Like when at first I was even considering saying that we'd get numbers during taping weekend. Then when the rebroadcast came out, I was thinking that we would get numbers this upcoming Monday on the 11th. And now that we know trials air dates, I'm expecting November 19th. Obviously, the idle number and the quotient numbers would be blurred if this were to happen, so that would be likely four numbers because one idle, three quotient winners if they keep the same format of the quotient. So four numbers would be blurred if this were to happen. Kunoichi time. Yes, I know that this color scheme that I chose isn't really pleasing on the eyes, but it is Kunoichi color, so it's staying this way whether you like it or not. Um, all the Kunoichi news that we know summed up, and I have the live stream on a separate like device here, and it looks even worse on it. The red somehow just the red pops out more, and ow, the eyes hurt. So let's try to get through this quickly. Filming for Kunoichi will take place on November 30th, 2024, which is that's the Saturday after Thanksgiving, 2 days after Thanksgiving, US Thanksgiving, of course. Applications are closed. I believe that they closed on November 7th. It will be filmed indoors at the Makuhari Meisi Exhibition Hall, the same venue used for Kunoichi's 9 through 11 since that initial reboot in 2017. No known competitors at the moment, though there's already four that I could see competing just based on like how active they've been in the ninja community as of late. And those are Ayano Oshima, Yuka Mizuno, Mei Watanabe, and Karen. Karen, she's been, on like I'm pretty sure she's been on every Sasuke since like 34. Mei Watanabe, she was in the World Cup, got some recognition for that. Yuko Mizuno, obviously also on the World Cup, returned and seems, and it's been heavily rumored that she's coming back to regular Sasuke 42. And Ayano Oshima, obviously the top Japanese female right now in Sasuke. Any foreigners, that to be determined. I'm pretty sure we didn't get any foreigners in 9, 10, or 11. So I wouldn't bet on it, but you never know. They could invite somebody like Jesse Graff to the course, maybe Olivia Vivian, but don't get your hopes up. And here is my special. What is the best era in Sasuke history? I'm not gonna lie, this is a topic that I've wanted to discuss for a while, and I'm gonna get a drink of water real quick. Sorry about that. Voice is honestly dead because I was at a football game earlier today screaming. So, yeah, if my voice sounds raspy or off, that's why. But getting back to this is something that I wanted to do for quite a while, and I figured this would be a good place to put it. Excuse me, that this would be a good place to put it to pad more time on the live stream. So, what is the best era in Sasuke history? Let's answer that question. Some quick notes. The eras are split up as follows, but they are split up by Kanzen. Sasuke 1 to 4, Sasuke 5 to 17, Sasuke 18 to 24, Sasuke 25 to 27, Sasuke 28 to 31, Sasuke 32 to 38, and the current era, Sasuke 39 to 41, and soon 42. Eras are judged off of results, obstacles, competitors, editing, the storylines, and just the overall quality of that era. I'll go a little in depth on every tournament in that era, including the sub eras and how they fit together. I'll also give every era a letter grade and a percent grade out of 100. May the best era win. So we start with Sasuke 1 to 4, which I'm going to be calling the beginning era. Sasuke 1, mostly alright, although the course is really easy. It's incredibly obvious how humble and trivial the show was at first, and this is most people's thoughts on Sasuke 1, so. Sasuke 2, I feel like it's mostly forgotten, the most forgotten tournament of this era for sure. But Midoriyama Studios was born, Sasuke filmed outside for the first time, and we had the continued storyline of Akira Omori being a top competitor. It was also Kazuhiko Akiyama's debut. Sasuke 3, it was a great tournament. We saw both Shingo and Yamada on the final stage. It was pretty cool. Omori's storyline continued to develop as him being the top competitor. And he also had, I will say by this point, he also had those new challengers approaching, like Shingo and Yamada. The rolling log also provided some much needed flavor to stage one, to this era, especially on stage one. And Sasuke 4, a very good end to honestly what was almost a forgotten era. I forget about this era a lot. I'm not sure about others, but for me, it is pretty easy to forget, even though it's the first one. Akiyama got his Kanzen, and Omori, who many saw as the favorite to Kanzen, was eliminated on stage one. So shocking results, but we also got our first ever Kanzen. So my thoughts on the beginning era. Overall, it was pretty okay. The course was incredibly easy. We did get some new staples though, like the rolling log, the cliffhanger, the pipe slider, and we were also introduced to the spider walk and the wall lift. The results were pretty good for the most part. We had a good amount of final stage attempts by a variety of people before we got a content. Sasuke 1, we had 4, Sasuke 2, 2, Sasuke 3, we had 5, Sasuke 4, we had 1. So that is 12. That's 12 final stage attempts before we got a content. The 12th attempt was a content. The one thing that this era lacks is storylines because besides like Omori and honestly, you could see Yamada towards the end of that era. But that's because it was the first era and Sasuke really didn't have that much of a history yet. It was still just it was still that spin-off of Kinniku Manzuke. It wasn't like I mean it was its own thing, but it wasn't anywhere near how it was today. It's a good way to describe it. So the grade, B minus, 81%, for all the reasons I listed on the last slide. And now we get to Sasuke 5 to 17, which I'm going to be calling the classic era from here on out. Sasuke 5 showed what a true renewal would be like. Warped Wall also introduced for the first time. Absolute staple of the show, perhaps the first obstacle any many people would think of when they hear the words Ninja Warrior or Sasuke or ANW. Any show, Warped Wall is likely one of the first obstacles that they think of. And we had by far the lowest clear numbers so far. 3 stage 1 clears, a single stage 2 clear, Shingo, I believe. No stage 3 clears, and obviously no contents. Sasuke 6, honestly a pretty forgettable tournament outside of Yamada's pipe slider fail. Stage 2 also sucked with the narrow and 100% clear rate, so Sasuke 6 was mid. Sasuke 7 was somehow even more forgettable in mid, but stage 2, at least stage 2 was improved and it started to feel like the modern stage 2, if that makes sense. We got the chain reaction, um, wall lift, pretty sure the hammer dodge was still there, so it started feeling like the modern stage 2. And we also finally got a final stage, even though Shingo's shoulder crapped out about 2, 3 seconds in. I don't remember the exact time, somewhere around there. Sasuke 8, honestly, a great tournament. Kane Kasugi Legacy tournament, obviously. The rain was actually handled okay, which is honestly kind of funny because the rain in Sasuke 8 in 2002 with limited technology, Sasuke still being a Bansuke spinoff, was somehow handled much better than Sasuke 32 in 2016, 14 years later. Advanced technology, its own show, it's a global brand. That's crazy to me. Honestly, it was handled better than the Rain Proms in 39 too. Also, it's arguably the best tournament without a content. Not for me, but it's up there in that category. Moving on, we got Sasuke 9. It was Nagano's breakout, and that's about it. We got a new cliffhanger, the dancer, that was iconic throughout the era also. Sasuke 10 for an anniversary, it was really, really freaking boring. The only good things were the debut of the balanced tank and the numbers tradition of doing like the 901 to 1000, 1901 to 2000, so on. Oh yeah, um, also Yamada failed on the pipe slider again. Sasuke 11, Nagano finally made the final stage, but that's pretty much it for this tournament. So by Sasuke 11, you could definitely see that Nagano storyline was developing. He was like the new kid on the block by this point in what would this be, 2000, 2003, 2004, something like that. Sasuke 12, another pretty memorable tournament, another one that some people think is the best to not have a Kanzen. Nagano getting to the final again and almost Kanzening further developed his storyline. Yamada's last time clearing stage one and his three attempts, which were um, his first attempt was the glove fiasco. Second was he timed out on the wall lift, but he claimed that the buzzer had a mechanical error. So he got a third try and he injured his wrist on the brick climb. And Bunpei's final stage debut. So by this point, Shingo, Yamada, Nagano, Akiyama, and Bunpei had all made the final stage, and Takeda was really established as well. Sasuke 13, the definition of decent. There's not much bad, not much good. Most people just remember Nagano getting to the final again and really nothing else. And then Sasuke 14 throws us for a curveball. It's a very weird tournament. Partly, honestly, mostly because of that spike in difficulty, but we saw Shinji Kobayashi on stage 3 again. Sasuke 15, another really weird tournament, even weirder than 14 in my opinion. But Bunpei was the hero of the tournament. He, like you say, Sasuke 15, um, two words, two words come to mind: heat and Bunpei. Um, top 10 warrior ever. Bunpei, top 10 warrior ever, undisputed, true hero, the GOAT. Nobody better than him. Sasuke 16, and by this point, we're starting to wonder, why are all these tournaments so weird? Stage 1 was so unique from every other tournament in 16, and 16 was pretty close to the end of an era. So it was just like the rope reverse, reverse fly. It was creative, but I don't know if it really panned out. But also, stage 3 endings were getting really boring at this point. The Devil's Swing was just, it was getting stale, honestly. Sasuke 17, the crown jewel of Sasuke tournaments. There's nothing bad that I can say about it off the top of my head. Perfect ending to a long era, the longest era actually in Sasuke history. Nagano finally got that content, completing his storyline for the time being. His storyline of this era, I should say. Had an 18-year-old Shinsuke get to the final stage, which was also pretty cool. Saw good amount of breakouts. I think, yeah, Kodohama, Yuta, Adachi, believe Takeda got to stage 3 as well. A lot of success in 17, and that was honestly couldn't really think of much of a better way to end such a classic era and some that a lot of people consider the golden era of Sasuke. So, what are my thoughts? Results in some tournaments were kind of underwhelming. 6, 7, 10, 11, 13, 16. A lot of those were underwhelming. Stuff like that. A lot of duds. I think I just named a lot of these. Yeah, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 13, 16. There were only one or two things that made each of these tournaments stand out, like 6, Yamada's pipe slider fail and 100% stage 2 clear rate. Sasuke 13, Nagano gets to the final for 3 straight times. Sasuke 16, weird course changes and another stage 3 ending. And like I mentioned during the talk of each tournament individually, not all of these points are good ones. We did get some pretty cool new obstacles that are still around today, so impact is definitely there. Warp's Wall is still there. Um, Bridge of Blades, I believe, came around in Sasuke 14, which is still in some ninja shows. Maybe not anymore, but it was, a couple of years ago, up until maybe like 2020, something like that. This was the golden age of the All-Stars, obviously. That was the biggest storyline of this era was the All-Stars. And if I'm being honest, the show probably wouldn't have survived if it wasn't for the All Stars, especially Nagano and Yamada. The amount of viewers that those two competitors brought in is just insane. And Sasuke wouldn't be Sasuke without them. There were also a ton of storylines, like I mentioned. Obviously, the All Stars were the main top group. They were the top dogs of the era. Nagano's quest for Kanzen, Yamada's decline, Kane's retirement, etc. So my grade for the classic era is A minus 92% for all of the reasons listed on the last slide again. We move on to Shin Sasuke. Sasuke 18. I love it. The best renewal of all time and arguably the greatest tournament of all time. Besides the Child's Play Stage 2, Net Bridge, Shoulder Walk, yada yada yada. This tournament is perfect and full of returning competitors and even a couple new faces. Sasuke 19, this tournament is the most unique Sasuke tournament without a question. The only tournament to end on stage 2. It really showed the toughness of the new era and made a statement to the competitors. I know there were a lot of like modifications that brought that stage 1 clear number down from 6 clears in 18 to only 2 in 19, which like the warped wall got taller, I believe. Jumping spider jump got bigger. I really can't remember many others. I feel like something happened to the log grip, like they changed the handles or something, but I'm not exactly sure. Either way, Sasuke 19, the most brutal Sasuke tournament of all time. Sasuke 20, really boring anniversary again. It's a shame that these early anniversaries were really boring. Um, Other than Levi's star performance, 20 is just 20 is a chore to sit through sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. Sasuke 21, a fantastic tournament up until the end when stage 3, the gliding ring, got exposed. And we also got a ton of new faces to Shin today. We got Yuji made his debut, Tomo, Asa, pretty sure Kano made his debut in 21. Rio, I'm pretty sure Rio also made his debut. Jun Sato didn't make his debut. I don't think that was till like Sasuke 23 or something like that. Sasuke 22, a pretty decent tournament, but extremely impactful. This is when the storylines of the era really started to build up. The All-Stars, I believe all the All-Stars went down early. Just like on Sasuke 19, I believe it was the second time ever that all the All-Stars went down on stage 1. It really showed the passing of the torch because in that same tournament, Yuji was the first one to get to the final, and Yuji is a member of the Shinsekai. So it really felt like the torch was beginning to be passed between from the All-Stars to the new Shinsekai. Sasuke 23, another really, really impactful tournament, and it also showed the All-Stars fight back. Kano, member of the Shinsekai, Nagano, member of the All-Stars, get into the finals, and Nagano did better than Kano, so All-Stars were still there at this point. He barely missed out on the second Kanzen. In my opinion, it's the best tournament without a Kanzen. And some people, and I'm pretty sure for most people, it's up there with with the best tournaments without a content. And Sasuke 24 is my favorite Sasuke tournament of all time. The Shinsei was well broken out. Tomo, Hashimoto, Naoya Tajima, Lee, Kano, Yuji, all of them made stage two. Um, Hashimoto, Koji Hashimoto, Lee, and Yuji all made the final. Yuji Kanzen passing the torch, ultimate example of passing the torch there. Um, especially since I don't think we had an all-star make the final. The only like old timer we had make the final was Colin, I'm pretty sure. Because yeah, Okuyama, Lee, Hashimoto, Yuji, Colin. Yeah. So my thoughts on Shin Sasuke. The results are pretty good in every tournament except maybe just 21. I would also argue that I really don't like 19's results. I kind of do like to see the later stages a little bit more, so but you can't deny the impact that those earlier tournaments in the era had on the era as a whole, and honestly Sasuke as a whole. There were a ton of obstacles introduced that are staples in ninja shows around the world today. Jumping spider, log grip, rope ladder into cargo net, rope swing into cargo net, I should say. Um, Unstable bridge, salmon ladder, spider flip. There is just there's a lot. There's a lot. There was one big storyline, and that was the Shintai overtaking the All Stars, the new top dogs of the show. So I really like that. Um, really impactful era with several tournaments that carry a massive impact. Obviously, 18 shows just pure brutality of the renewal. 19 shows how a renewal, honestly, 19 was just a continuation of 18. 23 was really impactful, passing the torch. 24 passed that torch completely. So, not too many duds. 20 was one that you could think of. Arguably 19 and or 21, depending on what your opinions are. I feel like 21 is more of a dud than 19. So, but my grade for Shin Sasuke is pretty high actually. It's an A, 95%. So, moving on to the last era. The last era, Sasuke 25. A really interesting renewal that brought back a lot of classic obstacles while still providing some crazy new or modified ones. Double Salmon Ladder, Ultimate Cliffhanger, Flying Bar, just to name a few. Also had some pretty good results and really showed that the new Cliffhanger was going to be demonic. Ultimate Cliffhanger was something like we've never seen before. I mean, we've before that we just had like Cliffhanger ledges, little walls, whatever it may be. We got a huge freaking wall, huge freaking jumps on the Cliffhanger. So yeah, Ultimate Cliffhanger was definitely the ultimate Cliffhanger. Sasuke 26, one of the most boring, mid, underwhelming tournaments of all time. Honestly, it's one of my least favorite tournaments. Prob Probably in my bottom five. Literally everything that 25 did but worse. And side note back to 25, I really liked how they brought back like some retro obstacles. I think it really contributed to like Circle Sliders brought back is just one example of that. Sasuke 27, in my opinion, it is the worst tournament with a content in the show's history. It's really obvious that like they knew Monster 9 was going through financial troubles. They knew that they were going to go bankrupt, so they nerfed the course heavily um because the producers wanted a winner before Monster 9 went bankrupt. And they did get that winner. They got Yuji. So that is the one bright spot of this era is that Yuji was the first competitor to win twice, even though if it was on a really nerf course, like not taking anything away from Yuji. Great competitor. Some consider him the GOAT. He's in my top three. Um, but my thoughts, the results were really shaky. 25 was good, 26 was bad, and 27 was good, but like I said, they kind of did cheat to get those good results. One of the less impactful eras of the show, and nobody really remembers the last era because we got Sasuke rising pretty quickly after the bankruptcy, so Nobody really remembers this as the last era. They just remember it as, the last Monster 9 era. There were hardly any storylines that were competitor related. The only major one was Yuji's quest for another Kanzen. And I guess you could call Nagano's comeback in 27 a storyline. The ultimate cliffhanger and double Staminator still exist in one form or another in most ninja shows, most notably A&W. And we did have some more foreigners, like we had Americans coming over again. Like we had uh, Paul Casimir, Travis Rosen, Brent, um, James McGrath, David Campbell. Had a lot of foreigners coming over, so it's always cool to see foreigners on Sasuke. I don't think I'll ever get tired of that. But my grade for this quote unquote last era is C minus 70%. It's mid. And I'm gonna move on to Sasuke Rising, but before I start talking about Sasuke 28, I'm gonna get another really quick drink of water. So we move on to Sasuke Rising. Sasuke 28. I'm pretty sure um everybody and their everybody and their mother is gonna agree with me on this. Thank you to TBS for the reboot that keeps the show alive today, but my goodness, this might be one of the worst reboots in TV history. Terrible editing, bad results, felt really corporate. The whole brick texture just compared to like the vines, the more authentic um feel that we had in like Shin Sasuke and that last Monster 9 era is just kind of just felt corporate, kind of felt a little bit cheap if if you feel me, if you know what I'm saying. But moving on to 29, pretty much 28 except slightly better results. Um a drowning hazard, courtesy of the backstream and a more authentic feel. Oh yeah, and some random 21-year-old kid named Yusuke Morimoto just completely broke out and was the first to clear the crazy cliffhanger. I'm it's not like he would be, the GOAT a decade later. Sasuke 30, the best anniversary tournament up to that point. Great results, amazing stage 3, fun final stage. It was pretty cool seeing Tomo get to the final stage, even though he didn't really do that well. Also cool to see some breakthrough on stage 3 with Kishimoto and Rio making it past the crazy along with Tomo. So going into 31 though, one of my personal favorite tournaments. It's actually the very first Sasuke tournament that I watched when I discovered Sasuke in 2015, so maybe a little bit of bias. We got our youngest ever Kanzen from Yusuke. Yusuke was 23 at the time of his first Kanzen. A really good mix of success and shock. Success obviously came from Yusuke, Kanzen, Hano finally getting the crazy cliffhanger. Khan getting back to stage 3. Um, Darvish finally getting past stage 1, but we also had a lot of shock. We had a lot of shockers. Yuji going out on stage 1, Rio going out on stage 1, stuff like that. Shinya Kishimoto, I believe this was the tournament where he had to withdraw. Also, Shinsuke going out on stage 1. And I also think that Sasuke 31 had one of the best stage 3s in Sasuke history. So my thoughts on Sasuke Rising. The results in 28 and 29 weren't great, outside of like Yusuke's crazy cliffhanger clear, but they picked up majorly throughout the era, so can't complain too much. Some pretty cool new obstacles or modifications. Crazy cliffhanger. Rolling Hill was brought back from the olden days. Sasuke 1 had, it was separated. I think it was like, I don't know, they had the up part of the rolling hill, and then they had like that. It's not like the pipe hold, but it's like you crawl across a log almost, and then the rapid descent, which was the down part of the rolling hill. Tackle came back in form, I guess you could say. Tackle Machine was one big box back in Sasuke 5. And honestly, now that I think about it, 31 brought back a couple cool obstacles and just honestly modernized them, made them pretty cool. I like them. Backstring, which is still around today. Vertical Limit, which is still around today. And there's also a lot of duds. Swap Salmon Ladder Nimbori, and Kudari, which is just really freaking stale now. And also Backstream. Backstream is a double-edged sword for a lot of people. You either love it or you hate it. And honestly, for little side tangent here, honestly, for most of my time watching Sasuke, I didn't really like the Backstream, but it's only been like the past 2, 3 years that I started to like it again. And the storyline of a new era and more breakout competitors like Yusuke, Kazuma Asa, Pomo, Hyoki, etc. Pretty cool. I liked all the new breakout competitors that we got. And it started, unfortunately, it did start that artificial taste that a lot of people don't really like about Sasuke. Um, Felt like we had more comedians than ever, the reaction booth, and just that more corporate look that I mentioned. So my grade for Sasuke Rising is a B, 86%. It's a decent era. First half kind of sucked. Second half was a lot better. Sasuke 32 to 38. I'm going to be referring to it as post Rising from now on. Sasuke 32, absolute bum of a renewal tournament. The new obstacles weren't bad. Like the TIE Fighter, I like the TIE Fighter. Double Pendulum was alright. Um, but the rain ruined most of this tournament, like I mentioned back in the Sasuke 8 thing. Somehow a 2016 course with rain was handled worse than a 2002 course of rain. Stage 2 was comically easy, 100% clear rate. It's only happened twice before, then and in Sasuke 6. The editing was terrible, and the celebrities were way overboard. Editing, like, no, only one female got shown, and that's with people like Casey Catanzaro competing. So it's Shingo and Takeda got digested. Um, they hardly paid any attention to Nagano, even though it was his last tournament at the time. But moving on, Sasuke 33, at least the celebrities were better, um, at least a little bit. The reaction booth was still there, which is always annoying. The fishbone came around and was actually good at the time. At the time, key phrase right there. The pacing, however, was god awful. The editing was terrible. Um, and the flying bar just ruined stage three. It's not an exaggeration to say that Sasuke 33 may have had the worst stage three ever. Stage two was really the only bright spot. I didn't like stage one, um, and obviously I hated stage three. Sasuke 33, honestly, for me, is just one of the worst tournaments of all time. Possibly, some people, it's considered the worst, and yeah, it's pretty down there for me. I didn't really like it. But moving on to Sasuke 34, honestly, a pretty solid tournament. Much better representative of 20th anniversary of Sasuke. Editing was much better. Results were a lot better. Stage 3 was a lot better. But again, similar to like Sasuke 14, 15, 16, the late stage 3 endings were getting kind of boring again. Um, it was we got to see Yusuke on the vertical limit, which was pretty cool. Um, got further than anybody had in the era so far, and like this was I really like 34. I'm gonna say that. I I know some people may not like it, but I love a lot of clears on stages one and two. I like having a big stage two and a big stage three. Gets us more of a gauge at, like what the course is like without giving away too much. But moving on, Sasuke 35. Besides the oversaturation of celebrities, it was honestly on par with 32 in terms of the amount of comedians. Like, holy crap. Um, this tournament was pretty solid. All all things considered. And we saw the new final stage be attempted for the first time by Yusuke. And I also, at the time, I really liked the Dragon Glider because the Double Dipper, it was and honestly probably still is my favorite A&W obstacle. So brought back in a form is I really liked it. 35 is a good tournament. 36, one of the best tournaments with no content. It's up there with like 23 and 8 with in that regard. Really good results. We got introduced to the Morimoto Sedai for the first time. Um, a ton of breakouts, really. Breakouts and like resurgences, honestly. Um, Araki and Tada for the breakouts. We got Yuji and Rio both making it back to stage three. Rio, this was the tournament where he got that one-handed cliffhanger save. Um, Yuji also did quite well, especially since I believe he was 40. Yeah, because he was born in 78, so yeah, he'd be 40, because Sasuke 36 was 2018. Anyway, though, and we got a live final stage. I really like the live final stages. I wish they would come back, but I know they probably won't ever because, that certain thing that happened in 2020. But all that aside, the final stage was amazing with Yusuke coming so close to winning. He was about a second off, less than a second off. Only bad thing was that stage 2 was starting to get a little stale. Like, I don't think there was a single change from 33 to 36 in stage 2. Sasuke 37, one of the weirdest tournaments in Sasuke history. I remember watching this tournament live, and it was just. This is. I vividly remember watching 37 live. It is. Like I said, it's just. It's so weird. It's so weird. And it's hard to say if it's like in a good way or a bad way. The rain was handled terribly, honestly, but at the same time, it did make for a ton of shock fails. So that was. It did in turn make the tournament, honestly kind of striking the tournament, if I'm being honest. Tomo went out, Keitaro went out, Darvish went out, Yusuke went out, which nobody was expecting. I'm pretty sure everybody and their mother was expecting Yusuke Morimoto to content in Sasuke 37. Stage 2 sucked because the rolling log wasn't working, so it was a salmon later start, and I I'm pretty sure they didn't even take anything off the time limit, so it was like it was a it was a pretty high clear rate. But and honestly, besides the cliff dimension not working on stage 3 was insane. It was on par with 36. And that's something I forgot to mention about 36. 36 had an amazing stage 3 if you couldn't tell already. And 37, honestly, some people consider it on par with 36. Some people consider it better. In my opinion, 36 is just a tad little bit better. But honestly, 37 had some pretty cool moments. Jesse got back to stage 3. Um, Yuji, the pipe slider, the rail is honestly one of the most heartbreaking moments in Sasuke history. Just saw Tada get to the live final, saw Renee be the fourth ever foreigner to get to the live final, which was pretty cool. Um, and like I said, the live final was pretty cool again. I I really enjoyed the live finals of 36 and 37. But given the pandemic in 2020, Sasuke 38 for a tournament made during COVID, holy crap. It's not even, you can't even call it one of the best tournaments given their circumstances. It's just one of the best tournaments ever. Stage 2 was finally tough again, which was really nice to see. But I will say, like, stage 3 was, because stage 2 was really tough and we didn't get as many clears on stage 1 as I would have liked. Stage 3 was kind of small, but stage 3 was pretty good. The right the right people got to stage 3. Tada, Yoshi, Jun, um, Yusuke, and I'm forgetting somebody because there was a fifth person. But like I said, it's one of the best ever. We saw good results all around, and of course Yusuke finally got that second content. And honestly, this is when like I had Yusuke in the I had him in the GOAT conversation after 36. 38 is what solidified me as him being the GOAT because he was on a harder course than Yusuke. He faced harder final stages than Yusuke ever did. So, I mean, not he faced harder final stages than Yuji ever did. So, my thoughts on Post Rising. The results, especially in the later part of the era, were amazing, with almost a perfect balance between success and shock. 35, 36, 37, 38. Most of the new obstacles were pretty good for their time. Ultra Crazy Cliffhanger, Cliff Dimension, Dragon Glider, Fishbone, etc. We got introduced to the Morimoto Sedai, like I said, the dominant force of competitors today. Yusuke, Keitaro, Tada, Araki. Um, I imagine that Miyaoka is going to get added to that list pretty soon. Jun Sato is on the list, along with other strong competitors like Yoshi and Issa, who both got their got their good starts on the Black Tigers. Yoshi is still a member of the Black Tigers, obviously. Issa is not. Um, but the storyline of Yusuke was so good this era, and it had one of the best endings. It also creates a really good storyline for this current era that we're in right now. The editing was bad at times, but honestly, it mostly stayed good. I mean, 32 and 33 were kind of duds, but like besides that, the rest of them were pretty good. Um, Stage 2 is probably the biggest problem that I have with this era. Apart from a couple of good exceptions, like 33 and 38, Stage 2 was just, it wasn't fun. But my grade for Post Rising is a B plus, 89%, just off of an A. Um, I really did like Post Rising, and it was the era that I grew up with, so obviously might be a little bit biased there, but I think most people could agree that it is one of the better eras in Sasuke history. But that takes us to the current era, Sasuke 39 onwards. Sasuke 39, a pretty mediocre renewal if I'm being honest. Barely any new obstacles, and the ones we did get weren't that great. Cough Swing Edge. Swing Edge is really ugly aesthetically. I mean, it was all right in 39. It just got stale from there on out. And it also looks really ugly on stage 3. We did have some good results though, apart from stage 2, and the rain threw some top competitors like Yuji and Yusuke for another huge curveball. It was honestly pretty shocking. I expect I'll I'll be honest, I expected Yusuke to fail the wall more in 39 than I did in 37 because I didn't by then I realized like he can't get up the wall if it's raining that heavily. So it did grow competitors like Yuji and Yusuke for a good curveball. Um, Sasuke 40, by far the best anniversary tournament. I loved it. Kane and Shingo were crazy. Some of the best moments in modern Sasuke, honestly, all of Sasuke history. Well, only thing that one of the only problems that I had with it is that the course was pretty easy. We got 3 finalists in the second tournament after a content, which honestly is pretty unprecedented. But I really like the results. We got a really good stage 3. I was pretty happy with the stage 3. Um, and honestly, I could see why it could be a clear fest. Like 30 was also a clear fest because it was an anniversary. And I kind of like seeing that mix of old and new. So I really don't mind that the corpse was. Why did I say corpse? I really don't mind. I really don't mind that the course in Sasuke 40 was pretty easy. And that takes us to the most recent tournament, Sasuke 41. And honestly, Sasuke 41 is pretty frustrating. It was kind of a chore to watch, especially towards the end. Stage 2 was boring beyond belief, I'm not gonna lie. I hated stage 2. Even though it resulted in the largest stage 3 we ever had, I didn't really like stage 2. Um, and stage 3, besides the vertical limit burst, I wasn't a big fan of stage 3 either. Pacing was just really freaking weird in stage 3. And honestly, the whole tournament, there was like It was weird. Um, but like I said, vertical limit burst, honestly, one of my favorite obstacles that I've ever seen, and it's a much needed upgrade in difficulty. I absolutely love the burst, and I feel like that it could be a staple. I think, I mean, they've already started doing this. I feel like they're gonna, make a new vertical limit after every content. But my thoughts on the current era. We have got some new faces in the mix. We got Kajihara getting to stage three, all three tournaments so far. Same thing with Muto. Miyaoka breaking out in 41. We had Wasabi break out in 41. Had Yamashita break out in 41. Had some of the two youngest stage one clears ever, Kaio Nagano and Yuto Nakashima. And we also keep that same storyline of Yusuke going for a third content. The era is still pretty young, but the celebrities have been really oversaturated in all three tournaments so far. Hikakin, Fuwa-chan, just to name a few. Um, idols, the idols have kind of gotten a little bit oversaturated, even though they've been a part of Sasuke. I'm pretty sure probably all of Sasuke history, but especially since Sasuke Rising. Um, but like I said, celebrities are oversaturated. A lot of comedians, just a lot of filler that I feel like hardcore fans of Sasuke don't really want. Stage two has been extremely boring and just a chore to sit through so far. All three tournaments, I haven't liked stage two in any of the tournaments so far this era. The editing has also been kind of underwhelming, kind of a lot of weird digests, weird choices. I mean, 41 was somewhat better. We got some mid cuts at least, but like I would have liked to see a couple more full runs. Maybe there's definitely better decisions that could be made. And like I said, we've gotten some really good results, though, apart from stage two. Like I said, we got breakouts, returning faces, Morimoto Sadai is as good as ever. The obstacles, honestly, the new ones actually, I should say, apart from the swing edge, have at least been decent. And like I said, the vertical limit burst, the best addition to the show in any stage in recent memory. And I feel like it could go down as one of my favorite obstacles of all time, if it isn't already. So the grade for the current era so far is C plus, 79%, barely missing out on a B. Um, 39 was a bum of a tournament. 41 is the definition of mid, and 40 is pretty good. But just if it was just 40, it'd be ranked pretty high. But like 39 and 41 drag it down a lot. So what's the best era? Number seven, the last era. 25 to 27. Number six, the current era. 39 to the current day. 41 soon to be Sasuke 42. Number five, the beginning era, Sasuke 1 to 4. Um, Pretty forgettable, like I said. Number four, Sasuke Rising. Sasuke's 28 to 31. I didn't like it. I really didn't like it. Um, it was parts of it were bad, parts of it were good. I feel like there weren't many parts that were just like in the middle. It was either great or it was terrible. Taking the bronze medal at number three, Post Rising, 32 to 38. I think it has some of the best storylines in Sasuke history, like I mentioned. Taking the silver, we have got the classic era, Sasuke's 5 to 17. Um, Also had some really good storylines. Honestly, storylines is what does it for me. And that means that the best era in Sasuke history, in my opinion, is Shin Sasuke. Pretty unpopular. I know it's a pretty unpopular pick because a lot of people, I don't know, just it doesn't sit well with a lot of people. I don't know why, but maybe they hate 19, maybe 21 just drags it down a lot more than it does for me. But I really love Shin Sasuke. I really do. It's my favorite era of all time, by far. On Honestly, it's not even close. So, that is going to do it for my stream tonight or today, afternoon, evening, morning, middle of the night, the 25th hour of the day. I don't know. I don't even know, dude. I am tired. I'm sure you can tell. I am really tired right now. So, I think it is time that I sign off, and I am going to do if I'm free, I'm going to be doing a numbers reaction stream. And honestly, I'm probably going to be doing one no matter what. Like, odds are that I'm going to be in class when the numbers get revealed. Um, so I would just have to wait till I get home that day to look at the numbers, which that's going to be hell. That is going to be hell. Now that I think about it, that's going to be hell sitting through class knowing that the numbers are out and I can't give like a raw reaction until I go home, get on a live stream. But honestly, if it is the 19th can't come soon enough. I am I'm really excited for the numbers this year. I feel like we're gonna get a really good lineup. I mean, 40's lineup was the best we've ever had. 41, honestly, even though it wasn't even an anniversary tournament, 41 had a really good lineup as well. Um, so I could definitely see 42 having a lineup on par with 41. I really like 41's lineup. Hopefully 42 is something similar. Um, and I honestly hope the trailer reveals the new obstacle, unlike it did last year, or at least the new obstacle will get like revealed or leaked or something after the trailer comes out, even if it isn't shown in the trailer. Um, but enough side tangents, whatever. Um, Thank you for watching.